जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ಲಕ್ನೋ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
हैदराबाद को 50 एक्सप्रेस पॉलोबोसी स्टेशन नेताजी भवन कृपया ध्यान दो
Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. It is a Sunday, which is, as you know, meant to be God's day of rest. But I, the God of live broadcasting, am at work, and I do that for you, my people. With me are two of my people, Mr. Bhattacharjya, Mr. Michael Vaughan.
Oh, Master.
Yes.
We are here for you.
Yes, yes. I like that you bow in reverence.
How do we worship you? What do we do?
You have to dance. Just like this. That's right. Yes, welcome. You are witnessing live the formation of a cult. The origin story of Cult GK. But hey, there can't be a bigger cult than that for this, the greatest T20 carnival in the world. And a Sunday means 2 games. That's right. Nobody's resting today. So that you can rest. Don't go out. It's like 140 degrees outside. Chill at home, relax, look at your screen, just enjoy the day. Can't get better than this. All right, the first game at Chinnaswamy, which means that it's not going to be like the day game of yesterday, which had only 135 runs. Today could have 235 runs in each innings, because Bangalore is playing this game. They're playing against Rajasthan. That's the first game that is happening today at Chinnaswamy. And the second game, which of course will get Joy very excited, is the game happening at Eden, which, if you would like to tell our people, would be Calcutta playing somebody else.
What game would that be?
Yeah?
I have no idea.
No idea.
What would that be?
What could that be?
I'm not sure. I'm more interested in your jacket today, Joy.
See, you know the idea, right? Yeah. Today is no greys, all black and white decisions.
Oh, you're getting a call, are you?
So the moment I say
Who was it?
moment I say that, somebody from Gaurav's cult calls me up to say, you can't do that.
Come on, who was that?
Huh?
Come on.
That was actually the front door.
The front door. Let them in.
Yeah, so
Let them in.
all these condominiums, you have these things where you call up in front door and you say, press 1 to let them in. So and so has come, yeah.
It's not the front door of the studio, right? Because don't let anybody, that's the last thing we need, is the cult invading the studio. Stay there, my followers, stay. I shall come to you soon. All right, so as you know, we have one Kolkata fan over here, and Michael has already said that Rajasthan is his team, so he's a Rajasthan fan in the first game, which means that Bangalore and Chennai, it doesn't matter if we support you or not. You have enough supporters. You'll do just fine, right? You're doing a little better than my cult right now. There's enough of a following there. So yeah, we've got support for everybody. But that's what it is. If you look at the points table, everybody can get your support because everybody is so evenly tied, right? I mean, yes, of course, Delhi is looking like a bit of a sore thumb, but they did win the last game, albeit latak ke, as I like to call it. But otherwise, look at this traffic jam at the top, right? Rajasthan, Lucknow, Chennai, Gujarat, Punjab, all at 8 points. Bangalore playing today. If they can beat table toppers Rajasthan, which is not going to be easy, but they're playing at home. If they can do that, then they come to 8 points as well, right? And then after that, Chennai has an opportunity to break away from that crowd if they can beat Kolkata, and they can go to 10. So today is a very important day, Joy, for this points table.
No, absolutely. And I think if Rajasthan and Chennai both win, then the 5 is a sort of, it's like a turning point. The teams that reach 5 generally almost always qualify.
Yeah.
And that's a big, big factor. So today's wins, they'll just say, get us over that hump. That 4 is you're still in that pack. Just get our heads above the pack. And then, you can play just a bit calmer, better cricket. So I think both of them will be looking to just finish that today.
I don't want that. I don't want, because I'll tell you what happens. There's a saggy middle, right? It's like a suspension bridge. And as the tournament reaches the middle, it gets a little saggy, a little boring. But if they all stay kind of neck and neck, even this part, the third quarter, will stay exciting.
Yeah, we want everyone winning. Kind of get to the last 2 or 3 games when everyone's got a chance of reaching the eliminations. Look, the RCB team are on the back of a good win against Punjab on the travels. This venue is such a hard venue to play at for the bowlers. I think all the batters will be licking their lips to get out there to have a strike because they know the boundary is short, the pitch is usually pure. It does a little bit more in the day, probably for the spinners. But the RCB team looked strong. Virat's going to captain again. He got that fielding unit really rejuvenated. You know, a couple of run-outs. Siraj was magnificent with the ball in hand, but they looked really energised in the field. And the RR team against Lucknow they weren't that good. You know, for RR to play that poorly, and particularly the chase. So I'm interested to see how they react to that, because if you're a quality team, and I think they are a quality team, they've got a lot of experience, you bounce back. You don't generally lose 2 on the trot. You've got that mindset to bounce back in the next game. So I think it's a big game for Rajasthan.
But I'll tell you what has happened. Rajasthan has won the toss and they have decided to bowl first. Interesting though, right? I don't know. What do you make of that decision?
Interesting, because if it was a night game, it's a no-brainer, because you're thinking of dew and lots of other stuff. Day games, generally batting has worked, and I am just surprised that they changed the template, because I think the only reason they do it is because they probably think they have the best bowling attack in the league. They have, I mean, if you look at it in terms of the number of weapons they have, I mean, somebody of the quality of Trent bowled up front, and after that you've got these 3 amazing spinners. I don't know how many they play today. They might not play Zappa today, but you have 3 amazing spinners as well. So you have a fantastic bowling unit. So they'll probably say that, you know, if you can get this even at a 180, it's an easy chase for us.
They also have Sandeep Sharma, who's doing really well. Sandeep Sharma is an unlikely warrior, right? I mean, he's one of those IPL veterans. You say, oh man, it seems like he's been playing from the first season, and then you look at his age, he's only 30, right? I mean, he's not that old, but he seems like a veteran because you've seen him play so much. And I'll tell you what, you've seen him bowl a lot against the Bangalore top batters, Gale and Virat, and he's had the wood over both of them. If there's a little bit of swing, and Michael, you mentioned last evening that there's a bit of reverse swing coming at the end of the innings as well, this is a guy who can really juice that orange dry.
Yeah, he's one of those bowlers, he's under the radar. No one really speaks about him, no one really mentions
100 plus wickets, 100 plus IPL wickets, and nobody speaks about
He's got Virat out 7 times, and I tell you, any bowler in the world will take that.
Yeah, and look at that average as well. I mean, it's a tremendous kind of record to have against the great of the game. You know, I think the Rajasthan Royals, Sanju Samson, that's probably one of the reasons why they've bowled first, to try and get something out the surface because of that kind of record, because of the bowling kind of quality that they have in their ranks. Everything, can we just squeeze them? Can we squeeze them? Can we? And let's be honest, the RCB team are reliant on the top 3.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's there's those top 3, and then I think DK's got 75 runs, but it's basically the top 3 that have done all the work. So they'll be banking on the likes of Trent Bolt, Sharma, knocking over 2 of that top 3. You generally always get one of them getting some runs, but if you can get rid of 2 quite quickly, you know, you're putting a lot of pressure on a middle order that hasn't had much batting.
That middle order has been a little brittle, and there was actually one game where they did get a lot of batting, and they just couldn't get any runs.
They couldn't get any runs. So that's one. The second point is that if you're a batting team, if you're a batting unit, you'll tell yourself that they allowed a team from 20 for 3 and with a pretty average strike rate at that point in time to go and chase 200 down. So what we've been talking about also a lot in this tournament is RCB does not have that mentality. The bowling does not. They take wickets up front because Siraj is doing so well, but they don't have that your foot on the throat kind of thing and finish off the game. I mean, they allowed Lucknow to survive and win from a situation which seemed totally untenable, and then these 2, Stoinis and Puran, took it away. So what I'm saying is that if you're a batting unit, you'll tell yourself, even if we get early wickets, the game's not over against these guys because they'll give you a chance.
Bangalore bowling, you mean. So when you're chasing, Rajasthan will say, even if we lose a couple, there's no problem. And the good thing for the Rajasthan batting is, and it's another reason why they're chasing, is because everybody there has kind of been amongst the runs, right? The top 5, every now and then somebody has got up and got it done. And that game against Gujarat needs a special mention because Sanju Samson and Shimron Hetmeyer, what they did in that game was just absolutely fantastic in a game that looked lost for Rajasthan. All right, let's have a look at the teams, the 11 or the 12 or the 16 that are going. It's just a mess. It's Impact Laroon. It's been very confused. This is the batting 11. So Faf du Plessis, Virat Kohli. Virat is captaining, but Faf will come out and bat. Guess he won't be fielding because of that niggle. I don't think it's a fitness issue. I don't think he wants to sit out fielding if he's fit because he's one of the best. Mahipal Lomrod, Dinesh Karthik, Shahbaz Ahmed, Manindu Hasaranga. David Willey comes in place of Wayne Parnell. Then there's Suyesh Prabhudesai. There's Vijay Kumar Vishak. He's looked impressive. I've liked what we've seen of him. And of course, Mohammad Siraj, who has just absolutely been on fire. He got the 4 wickets in the previous game. But the one thing that he does, I know they're batting first, but the one thing he does is he just gets you a wicket in the power play. And Michael, when you have a bowler who can do that for you, almost guaranteed 1 wicket in the power play, that's gold.
Yeah, I mean, he's hot at the minute, and he's not only going and getting wickets, he's not going for any runs.
Yeah.
You know, he's bowling with great economy, he's going with, you know, real aggression. He's in the batter's face, he's setting the tone, he's getting just enough movement, he's getting the outswinger to the right hander back into the left handers working nicely. And you only have to look at those numbers there on the screen. He's setting the tone. You know, in T20 cricket, you need batters that set the tone at the top, and you need opening bowlers that set the tone. We've got 2 outstanding ones today. You've got Trent Boult for RR, and you've got Mohammad Siraj for the RCB team. And on a venue that we're seeing today, you need to have bowlers that just believe that they can make things happen.
Yeah.
Because generally the pitch wins. Yeah. It's a true wicket. It can't be nice sleeping the night before as a bowler, knowing that you're going to have to bowl on this surface, on this venue, with this noisy crowd, particularly the away team. So you have to have a real mindset of going, you know, I'm going to make something happen. And that's exactly what Siraj does.
Or you just sleep really comfortably because you go, there's nothing for me tomorrow, right? So anything I get as a bowler, I'll take. So let me just not lose any sleep over it, because I am going to go for 15-4.
So the attacks that do really well out here, though, are attacks that take wickets. Because you cannot, the strategy say you do in Kolkata,
stop runs.
You know, contain and then wait for them to make mistakes, you know, you get frustrated. That's not going to happen here.
Yeah.
So you've got to bowl wicket-taking balls. Because you know that even if you don't bowl a wicket-taking ball, bowling, you know, trying to contain people with your bowling is not going to happen on this ground. Altitude of 2,500 feet, ball flies. I mean, from that top edge of Brendan McCullum, of Zahir Khan that went for a 6, from there onwards, everyone knows what Chinnaswamy is about.
Yeah, that's right. From there on, it's just never stopped. That's just the way the wind blows. You get an edge and the ball is in Cubbon Park, which apparently has some construction going on right now. So I don't think you'll get the ball back if it goes there. So don't hit it that side. All right, the Rajasthan team, let's have a look at the team they're taking. They're going to be bowling first. Yashasvi Jaiswal, Jos Buttler, Sanju Samson, Devdutt Padikkal, Shimron Hetmeyer, Dhruv Jurel, Jason Holder, Ravichandran Ashwin, Trent Boult, Yuzi Chahal, Sandeep Sharma, Joy. What do I see, Joy?
I'm going home. I have nothing to do out here. My work is... But remember, this is a bowling 11.
Yeah.
Let me show you. All right, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, let's look at those reserve lists, because my man will be there.
So, I don't want to do this. I don't want to break his heart, but I will have to do it, because Riyan Parag is not in the impact players list as well. He's not there. Joy, don't leave. Lock the front door. Don't let him open it with his phone. Just lock it. Take his phone away. Stay. I know, listen. We spoke about him, right? We spoke about him. Michael and I spoke about him yesterday as well. And Michael did say something, which is that, you know, since he knows Joe Root well and Jos Buttler well, they both have really kind of underlined Riyan Parag's talent in the nets and what they see from him. And you were saying how it is not translated. It just looks like maybe it's the end of the rope for him, because it has to translate, right?
If you're not in the impact 5, there's a concern for a player, unless he's got an injury or an illness of some kind. But if you're not in that list of 5, I would say that your time is up for a while.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that you're on the tip of the tongue of the coach and the captain if you're not even making the impact 5. So, look, those numbers don't lie. He's had 5 games, 20 off 12's his best kind of return so far. The 15 off 12 in the game against Lucknow. You know, he had to get on with it a little bit soon. He couldn't hit the boundary.
Did the team in a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. And when you do that and you don't get a team up, he's in the side to finish off that game against Lucknow. You're in there in the middle order. Your job is to finish off the game. And on the back of 4 previous poor performances, you know, that was his opportunity to make sure that he was in the side going forward. He didn't take that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, can I tell you that I'm actually feeling bad for the guy? Because for me, you know what it is? It's a perfect storm. It's a young, inexperienced kid with a lot of talent, which a lot of people have seen. In his home state, he's practically a god. His mother is very well regarded. His father is regarded as a guy who's played against Dhoni. Mother is a champion swimmer. So he's like a first family of sport there. And you're a kid and you're told, do your best and you're a champion. And you come out here, you're given those opportunities. And he's reacting, if he's doing a bihu or something, he's reacting the way he knows best. He doesn't know any other way.
Tends to get a lot of hate for it, right?
Yeah. So what happens is, if you do that, he's beginning to realize that if you do that and you don't have the performances to back you up, people will call you out. And he's therefore stuck in this situation now that the more chances he gets, the more hate he gets. in some ways the team is trying their best to back up, but at some point I think it's a good thing that they drop him and they say that, you know what, whatever your talent is, whatever your potential is, its potential is like writing how many hours you studied in examination.
Yeah.
You know, it's what you've written is what matters. You know, so it doesn't really, it doesn't matter how many hours you studied. So guys, go back. You know, once you come back next year, or you'll get your chance later, but you haven't done it in the chances you've got.
I like what Joy is saying, because that doesn't just hold true for Riyan Parag. It holds true for a lot of youngsters who come with potential. They play here. It's a very big stage, big crowds. The whole world is watching. And sometimes, you know, talent meets opportunity, but it doesn't convert, right? And if it doesn't convert, you have to take a few chances. You got to make the players sit. You got to do something psychologically, keep them balanced. This is probably for all young players. But even experienced players sometimes get their heart broken. And I'm talking about Yuzi Chahal, who, well, you know, would never get his heart broken by going for runs in Chinnaswamy, because he just has that heart. He says, come, try to hit me for another 6, try to hit me for another 6. And it works, Michael, because that made him the highest wicket taker for RCB. You know, the wickets in Chinnaswamy, you know, an economy of under 8 in Chinnaswamy is, you got to weigh him in gold. It won't be too much gold, but you got to weigh him.
Those numbers are ridiculous for the venue.
Yeah,
I mean, to average 20, to go under 8s, he's best of 6 for 25. I mean, it's one of the great myths of why did they let him go?
Yeah.
Particularly at the cost. And then they have to spend a lot more money on Hasaranga.
Almost double.
Yeah, Rajasthan can't believe they've got him. You know, they can't believe they've got such quality, such experience, and such a great lad. Yeah. I mean, I watch all the social medias of all the teams, and Yuvi's clearly the joy of the Rajasthan Royals. He's got this relationship with Joss Butler, I see all the time.
Joss Bhai, he calls him.
Yeah, and I've seen him dancing on the stage with Joe Root. He looks a great guy. And having guys like that in your squad, and Joe, you've been around teams in the IPL, it's a long process, the IPL. It's 8 weeks pretty much, and you're spending a lot of time with each other. You need people in that room, the dressing room, the team room, on the plane, on the bus, that make you laugh.
Yeah.
You need those characters, and he's certainly one of those characters.
A, makes you laugh. B, you need people who can laugh at themselves. Yeah. And he's the champion. He's the gold medalist.
He's the all-rounder, because not only is he a great team guy, and not only is he bringing joy every day, not only is he smiling every day, and I'm sure even when they've lost, he'll get on the bus the next morning, he'll crack a joke.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, you know what, I'll just get on to the next game. He then produces.
Yeah.
He's also so he produces in the middle, under pressure, and then he's producing off the field. He's the perfect cricketer.
I've seen him, and it's so crazy that not just his own teammates, Kuldeep Yadav, his resurgence. Kuldeep Yadav has credited Yuzi Chahal. Now, it takes a lot to actually do that. We're just talking about how, not just on the field, not just taking all these wickets in Chinnaswamy, getting the purple cap for Rajasthan, all that is fine. You see that. It's the things you don't see, right? The intangibles that make you even more valuable than your price tag. Because you can be a sullen guy, but we don't want you in the team, even if it comes base price. Right? And you can be this happy dude spreading joy. And Kuldeep says that when he was down, even when playing for Calcutta, he says he would call Yuzi Chahal, and Chahal would say, do this, change this in your bowling. And sometimes even when Kuldeep was playing against Chahal's team.
No, absolutely. And that's what happens now in auctions, or even the last 2 auctions that I was a part of, that's about 9-10 years ago, once the IPL had matured, the one thing you do is call up a guy saying, you know, we're thinking of this guy. What's he like in the dressing room?
Yeah,
because it is such an important part of it. You cannot believe how important it is.
Yeah.
And you handling, and Yuvi is perfectly that. But understand that Yuzi, this is not the first time he's been disappointed. If you look at Yuzi and his record, his part of why he's such a good bowler in conditions like the Chinnaswamy, which is the toughest in the world, is he spent 2 years bowling the nets in Mumbai in the worst of conditions. So Yuzi was in Mumbai nets for 2 years. Yuzi and Kuldeep actually both were there.
Yeah.
And they would bowl day after day to the likes of Simons, Tendulkar, you know, big hitters all the time. Bowling to big hitters in the Wankhede is perhaps the best education in the world you can get. In its infinite logic, Mumbai didn't take it.
Yeah.
Take him. And RCB goes and picked him up. And then RCB, when they realized also such a great bowler he is, they've messed it up. So
yeah, they've let him go, and Rajasthan got him at literally like a discount, 6.5 crores, right? And definitely worth thrice as much in terms of the value he's given. Won them the purple cap last year. And so I just want to kind of squeeze in this one point, because Jatin Paranjpe, former Indian cricketer who was then a selector, told me this. He said when they go look at a young player, he says, when we as selectors go look at a young player, and he told me this on my podcast, so it's not like in private, he said that we don't just look at him batting. In fact, I don't look at him batting at all. He says, I see how he's coming off the team bus. I see what his prep is. I see how he's running out water to another teammate. I see how he's applauding if somebody else gets 100 when he's got a duck, right? How he's celebrating. And these are the things actually in this high-pressure team sport, squads of 24-25, that actually stand out. You'll know that as captain.
The thing is in sport, the actual cricketer is visual. We can see the cricketer. You can see what the skill set is. You can see all the numbers. The actual person you don't see.
Yeah.
So it's so important that you find out who the person is, because the person is what's going to drive the team. Because that's, I remember when I got the England captain, my dad, who was just a business kind of manager, he managed sales teams for his life. His only piece of advice, he ran me up on the day. He couldn't believe I've got the England captain, so he took the mick out of me. So because they must be struggling, he said. So I laughed, and he said, "Look, I'll give you one piece of advice." He said, "Manage the person, not the player." He said, "If you manage the person, not the player, you've got half a chance."
Ooh, that's a big one. You heard it here.
You heard it here. Can I tell you something? We keep talking about Gujarat. We keep talking about Chennai. They do this. They do this. There are some teams who do it. Wow, that's so interesting. All right. I'll tell you two people, or rather two pairs of people who need no management at all because they're doing really well, is the pair of openers for each team. They've kept them solid, so that's one thing, right? Because they're not changing them. A lot of other teams are changing their opening combinations. These guys are not. Faf and Virat on one side, Joss Butler and a young Yashasvi Jaiswal. So even the dynamic in both places is so interesting, right? You have a foreign pro and an Indian great, right? A world great. Then you have a foreign pro who is one of the world's greatest, white ball, and a young talent who's coming up and pretty much just growing. And it's rare, you don't grow in the shadow usually, but he is growing in the shadow of Joss Butler, Michael, and that's a great teacher to learn from, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jaiswal's a great story.
Yeah.
To come from nowhere and to now be opening the bat in the IPL with the spotlights on, walking out the bat with, again, he's the best white ball player in the world, Joss Butler, as we speak. To have that experience at the other end and knowing that Joss Butler's going to give him so much on the training. I've seen so many videos of Joss just standing behind him, just giving him tips on where to strike the ball, when the ball's coming at a certain angle, try and aim there, and if he's standing behind him, giving him all these tips. He's a tremendous story, but generally teams that win the IPL, they have real strong combinations throughout. You need your opening combination to be a strong one, consistent one. Your opening bowling combination needs to be strong. You need to have dual spins in the middle, combination of spin in the middle. Generally, most teams that win the IPL have those three bases covered nicely. And that's why Rajasthan are a strong team, because they've certainly got those three combinations working nicely for them.
Yeah, they have. And on the other side, when you see Virat and Faf, right, these two, and at least this season, it's nuts. You look at one guy who's retired from international cricket, closing in on 40, got the fitness of a 14-year-old, right? On the other side, you have Virat, who people are saying, international, or maybe he's too senior for T20 cricket, right? Fitness, of course, you don't have to, say anything about his fitness, but his style of play, maybe is it old school now? But they're getting the job done, and they're getting the job done really well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's not an easy one because they're doing it at a pretty decent strike rate.
Yeah.
And remember, especially when you're such a top-heavy team, it's even tougher. I mean, arguably, I'll have to say that, what Rajasthan have later is stronger than at this point in time, definitely than what...
Correct. Middle order, Rajasthan advantage.
Okay.
True.
Which means that Yashasvi can play with a little more freedom than these two.
Yeah.
So given the kind of situation they are in, they're still scoring at 150, 160s and 130s for Virat is something amazing, because both of them know that they are vital to their team. They're thinking, there's the two of us, there's Maxi, and then somewhere there's DK in the end in the 15th, 16th over. The rest haven't really given us very much.
Correct.
So, given that pressure, the fact that they're performing is amazing, that you're taking a phenomenal amount of pressure upon yourself every time you walk out.
Yeah.
And in the Chinnaswamy, when you're walking out, anyway, you're taking pressure, because any total over 200, the other team laughs at.
Yeah.
So even if you score 200, they sometimes win, but that's what you're saying. So you're walking out with a phenomenal amount of pressure. And to score 483 runs with that kind of pressure on them, that's what I think is true class.
Yeah, but Joe, I'll say, going back to the auction, I think the RCB team, 2 years ago when Juve went to Rajasthan, they didn't get their planning right, because clearly they're top heavy. They've got these three outstanding players at the top.
Which they have always been.
Correct.
And you thought that they would sort that problem in this auction.
And then they've got DK, who comes in for the last 8 balls.
Yeah.
That's his contract. Now, surely they'd have been better off keeping Yuvi Chahal, saving the money that they've had to spend on Hasaranga, and buying a number 5.
Yeah.
A number 5 batter, 5 or 6, a striker. I mean, you look at him, I know he's just started to come to fruition now, but if they had someone like Jetish Sharma,
Yeah.
who just goes out there and launches from ball one, if they had a player like that, or a Shimran Hetman, or a Nicholas Pooran in that middle, I know it's another overseas, but that style of player coming in at 5 or 6, I think that's the RCB team. They're probably a bowler or two light, but in terms of batting, that's the purest batting lineup in T20 cricket we can find.
They got Rajat Patidar last year as an injury replacement, and he got 100, and they were counting on him this year, and then he's injured as well, so he's out. But Mahipal Lomror, Anuj Rawat, all these youngsters in the middle, Shahbaz perhaps, that middle order is looking a little brittle for Bangalore. The good thing is it's not affecting the senior pros at 1, 2, 3, because you're right, that kind of pressure can really weigh you down. But 1, 2, 3, KGF, Kohli, Glenn and Faf.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Did you just think that up?
No, we've been saying this on the Hindi show for a while. Yeah.
You.
But you never watched the Hindi show, so that's why I thought I'd slide it in here.
But Gareth, the hardest place to bat in T20 cricket is 5, 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And all their experience is in the easiest places to bat, which is 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
1, 2 and 3 in T20 cricket, there is a lot of players in the world that can bat 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
There's not many that do it successfully batting at 5, 6 and 7.
It's like an open cookie jar lying on the floor when your parents are out of the house, right? You just keep picking them up and eating them, right? Just do what you want and go nuts on the sugar high. But in the middle, I just want to check the Bangalore impact list again, if you could bring it out, because they're seeming a batter short here. So let's just check the impact list, because they are batting first. They have Anuj Rawat, Finn Allen, Akashdeep, Karan Sharma, Harshal Patel. So they're obviously wanting to get Harshal Patel in. And now if we come back to their batting team, this batting team has Hasaranga batting at 7. Considering that most teams are going for 8 or 9 batters, there's... Suyash
Suyash is
sorry,
out of
Suyash
position.
is the batter. He's just been
He's
slotted
out of
down below.
position.
All right. So,
And Willie will go up a little bit higher.
all right. So that makes sense. We add up. Yeah, Willie would probably bat ahead of Hasaranga. So, all right. That makes sense. Then they are batting down to 8 and 9 then. All right. Bangalore batting first. What is the score they're looking at getting? And after that, the reason I'm getting this out of the way first is because we have to quiz Joy about yesterday's question that he sent in. Right? We will in a second, but let's get our score guesses in first. Oh, don't get nervous. Oh, your time is coming. Your time is coming. Who's going first? You go first, Michael. Come on.
I'm going to go 185.
185. All right. Where are you going?
They never do too well in green. 172. I'm going to lowball. They don't do well in green. It's not my fault. I mean, I'm just looking statistical observation.
Random statement. Imagine if you said that about like the South African team or the Pakistan team. They never do well in green.
That would be a bit dire.
It was like, all right, let's see. So you've left. I'm going to say 192.
Oh, you're squeezing him.
Oh, where are you? 185?
185.
195 then. No squeeze.
Yeah.
No squeeze, please. Okay, now, squeeze us, Mr. Gaurav Bhattacharya. What was yesterday's question? What is the word play you were trying to do when you sent the first question? We thought you were saying without, with hours, with... What were you saying?
No, I said without.
So there was a typo here.
It was a typo. My typo. But without getting dismissed. That means not just...
One sec, was the typo yours or do I need to fire somebody here?
No, nobody's...
Oh, it was yours?
It was mine, and at 3:45 I got a call and I said, what was that all about? And I said, it's without.
So I did say it right then. I did. I corrected it here because I know how you think.
And you got it right.
And I got the answer right as well.
You got the answer right as well.
So he actually answers your questions when he doesn't understand the questions.
So please make sure today's question I don't understand, because if I understand it, I overthink it and I mess it up.
you remember famously the one that you did answer.
Yeah, that is true.
On Ajay Jadeja's birthday.
I did. So there you go. Take it away.
Okay, what did Kieran Pollard do of the bowling of Mitchell Johnson in the 2013 season that has never been done before or after in the history of the tournament so far? I mean, if it happens today, it happens today, but so far it hasn't happened.
Oh, what? Do off his bowling.
So, yeah.
That's it. Never been done.
It's a bit of a, yeah.
Okay. I have another question for you.
You, by the way, have spoken about this at length and I've heard you speak about it. How does that sound?
In the meanwhile, I want to ask you another Joy Factor question. Who has, as we are speaking, taken his 100th wicket in the IPL?
Not jail.
No, can't be
Wait,
opening the
can't be.
bowling.
Who's bowling?
Come on.
Rajasthan's bowling. Trent Bolt.
That is correct.
Trent
And who
Bolt.
has he got?
He has to get one of these two. Fab Duplessis. No,
got Virat.
Virat.
He's got Virat. Well done. Both of you answered that correctly. Do you want to change your score guesses since we're still on air?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'll stay with one.
See, there you go. He was right. They don't do well in green. We should always listen to the man with wisdom. It's because of your good looks that we discount your wisdom sometimes. You know that? That's what we do. You like me
Tell
now,
my
don't you?
partner. Tell my partner.
You like me now, don't you? All right, that's all we have time for. We got to go. If you have the answer to the Joy Factor question, send it to us on Twitter. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live, hashtag Joy Factor. So send us your answers there. And we, of course, will see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox for a little update on Bangalore's batting effort and Rajasthan's bowling effort. That's us now on Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you in a bit. Stay tuned. We're here with you all day through the two games until the end of them. Thank you for watching.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
Hyderabad Superfast Express Boloboti Station Netaji Bhawan.